Hi, folks. Welcome to What's Gay in PA, where we share news stories and events that impact the LGBTQ plus community across Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia to Erie and all points in between. Today's show is brought to you by Powered by Rainbows, starring Matt Haslam, providing LGBTQ plus education in virtual classrooms across Pennsylvania and around the world, and by Aura Jewelry by Mary Moore. Check out her latest designs on her Etsy page for details. We open our show this evening with a brief overview of Pennsylvania and federal non-discrimination law. In Pennsylvania, the Fairness Act has been introduced in sessions of the General Assembly and State Senate for the past several years. Pennsylvania is the only state in the Northeast United States that does not explicitly prohibit discrimination against LGBTQ plus people based on real or perceived sexual orientation or gender identity. The Fairness Act is intended to end legal discrimination in housing, education, credit, and public accommodations based on sexual orientation and gender identity. For years, the bill has been stymied in the Pennsylvania House State Government Committee when the chair of the committee was Darrell Metcalf. He is no longer serving on that committee, and this could be the year that the bill finally passes. Under federal law, no protections based on sexual orientation or gender identity existed until last June. The U.S. Supreme Court, in a landmark decision in the Bostock v. Clayton case, ruled that the Federal Civil Rights Act of 1964 protects against discrimination in the workplace because they interpreted the term sex in the law to refer to sexual orientation and gender identity. Unfortunately, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act applied to companies with 15 or more employees. Smaller companies are exempt from the law. The Bostock ruling does not include housing, credit, education, or public accommodations. Amending the Pennsylvania Human Relations Act by adding sexual orientation and gender identity as protected statuses would provide more adequate protection from discrimination. But for changes to happen at the federal level, we need the Equality Act to pass. The bill, passed by the House of Representatives in February of this year, got through on a vote of 226 to 204. Now it awaits passage in the U.S. Senate. That explanation brings us to this request. The Senate may vote on this bill at some point in the very near future. Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey has already committed to voting in favor of the bill. His counterpart, Senator Pat Toomey, has said he is not in favor of passage. We are asking folks to make calls to Senator Toomey. The number is on your screen, and it's 888-439-0303. You will need to enter your zip code to prove you live in Pennsylvania. Please leave your name and say something personal about why you want the Equality Act to pass. That number, one more time, is 888-439-0303. In other news, if you were looking for a tasty chicken sandwich, even on Sunday, we encourage you to check out Burger King's latest fried chicken sandwich. Known as the Chiking, the sandwich is a hand-breaded chicken fillet with pickles and a signature sauce served on a potato bun. According to the Daily Beast, Burger King's tweet about the sandwich took clear aim at Chick-fil-A for their donations to anti-LGBTQ clauses, including preventing the Equality Act from passing, getting state legislatures to pass anti-trans legislation, and filing lawsuits to greatly expand religious exemptions to anti-discrimination laws. For every Chiking sandwich sold, Burger King has said that they will donate 40 cents to the Human Rights Campaign with a maximum donation of $250,000. And finally in the news, we bring you this guest editorial from Cumberland County Commissioner Jean Foschi, as shared in the Sentinel newspaper. She writes, "As a Cumberland County Commissioner, I keep up with various news information and sources regarding the elected officials who serve our wonderful county. Recently, I read about the actions of Cumberland County State Representatives Dawn Kiefer and Barb Gleim with disbelief and disappointment. Our lives and livelihoods have been upended by a global pandemic that has wreaked havoc on our beloved county. Our children, our schools, and our livelihoods have suffered. Yet, two of our state reps who are supposed to serve all residents of Cumberland County are actively pursuing state legislation and policies that indiscriminately hurt children, public schools, and ultimately Cumberland County taxpayers. Early in April, both Representatives Kiefer and Gleim introduced House Bill 972, touting it as legislation that will keep women's sports fun and fair. But there's nothing fun or fair about House Bill 972 or their sponsorship of the same. The 3-page bill calls for discrimination against children and young adults and encourages lawsuits against public schools. It forces our educators to discourage, label, and deny children opportunities in the name of fairness. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference spoke out against the bill, stating, "We want an inclusive and fair path for transgender athletes to participate in intercollegiate athletics." Further adding that the bill could jeopardize opportunities for athletes on the regional and national level when those competitions are held in Pennsylvania. Scientific American recently ran a piece by Jack Turbin, Child and Adolescent Psychiatry Fellow at Stanford University's School of Medicine, in which he states, "Attempts to force transgender girls to play on the boys' teams are unconscionable attacks on already marginalized transgender children, and they don't address a real problem. They're unscientific, and they would cause serious mental health damage to both cisgender and transgender youth." House Bill 972, if passed, will unleash cruelty and mental anguish on children and put educators in an impossible, uncomfortable position. I don't understand why Representatives Gleim and Kiefer would pursue this objective. And frankly, Commissioner Foschi, we don't understand it either. Now it's time for the rundown. Lebanon, PA, you've got bride. The church at 39 South 8th Street in Lebanon, PA will be hosting a potluck from lunch from 1 to 4 p.m. Be sure to bring a covered dish. Stick around for the lunch because afterwards, Lebanon Drag Night hosted by Whitley will take place. A $10 cover charge starts at 6 and showtime is at 7. Be sure to turn out for Pride Fest 2021 at Mowell Field in Hanover, PA on Saturday, June 26th from noon until 7:30. Be sure to meet the Queen, Phoebe Fox, who will have you mesmerized by her high kicks, splits, and tricks. If you have news or events that you would like us to mention on our show, send story ideas to info@paequality.com. For events, please allow up to 1 week prior to the event for us to include it on the program. Thanks for watching today. If you like today's show, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to our channel. Check in again tomorrow when we'll have another edition of What's Gay in PA. What's Gay in PA is a production of the Pennsylvania Equality Project, all rights reserved.